This podcast sucks. It's been a while since Tommy's stayed to podcast with his friend Eddie.
So what I'm saying is I should go off my meds.
No.
And get back into that state.
I don't condone this.
Welcome back.
Shout out God, shout out Jesus.
Deep
Welcome to the Extraordinary Podcast Spectacular with Eddie and Tommy.
Welcome back to the Extraordinary Podcast Spectacular with Eddie and Tommy. Tommy's dead. So I brought in Case. Hey Case, what's up?
Hi Eddie, how are you?
So here's the problem, Case.
Okay.
There's a guy that he does this podcast with me, right?
His name Tommy?
Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my friend from back home.
Whatever.
He's like the other guy, you know, like
He's the other guy.
It's the Extraordinary Podcast Spectacular with
Yeah.
Eddie and Tommy. But Tommy's disappeared.
Okay.
He's just kind of like gone off the face of Earth.
Off the map, off the grid a little bit?
Yeah, so last week we tweeted out that the podcast is dead.
Cool.
Because it seems like it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're back, baby.
With me.
Yeah, so Case he's my friend. He's only my friend here. Okay, here's the problem, Case. So I've been worrying about this for a while, right? So Tommy's dead pretty much, right?
Sure. Or
So
just in Ohio with bad cell reception. We're not sure.
That could be it.
Yeah, it is Ohio.
But I want the podcast to keep going. It's the only thing in life that makes me happy, right?
Oh,
So,
ooh, boy. All right.
So since Tommy's not here, I was like, well, I can't do it by myself because I'm not that interesting.
I don't want to hear you talk to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around for other, like we have another guy that we do it with named Cam. He's my other friend. He's great. But he like I keep telling him to get a microphone so we can record it the same way that me and Tommy record this podcast.
Yes.
But he refuses to because he's a cuck. So
a libtard.
Yes. So I ran into this problem where I just can't record because Tommy's not here. And I don't want the podcast to die because, again, like I said, it's the only thing in life that makes me happy.
Yeah, very short list.
It goes this, literally nothing else. There's nothing else.
It's the only thing.
It's the only thing that I wake up for in the morning. Like I have a job, a family, you know, I have a girlfriend.
You do have a job.
None of them make me happy. So I've been looking for a co-host, and I realize I don't have any friends.
Yes.
I
knew that.
Which is a big problem.
Yeah.
Well, I have friends. I have like my roommates. I love them. And I have friends back in, you know, Ohio. But I don't have any friends here in Chicago. But I have you. And you're my friend.
Coworkers.
Well, you technically are only my friend because you need school credit.
No, we've developed a friendship. It just happened that we became friends because I needed school credit.
But the only reason you're doing this right now is because you need school credit. Like it goes back to that.
I'm interested by the fact that you kind of set this up to where I'm auditioning to be on this show.
No.
Where in my mind it was like,
you're doing me a favor.
I was like, we'll see how this goes. Maybe I'll want to do more, then Eddie will for sure have me back on, but I'm not sure I'll want to do more.
Yeah, no.
I kind of had this thought of like, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to go over to Eddie's, I'm going to record this podcast, and then in the slight chance that I ever find true success, this podcast taping is going to come back to haunt me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is going to be the one that cancels me 15 years from now.
Case, here's a question.
What's up?
Have you ever heard, I sent you over the podcast, I was like, hey, maybe listen to like 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to like kind of get what we're going for here. Mm-hmm. Like just so you don't like.
It's a real revolutionary concept. Two guys with two microphones talking about stuff.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear what we're talking about, but we do say some pretty, I don't know the word. Like, awful, yeah.
Questionable.
Bad stuff.
Horrible.
Yes.
Things.
So I just want you to know, like, you've agreed to this. You've given me your sign of approval. If this does haunt you in the future, which it probably could.
Very easily.
Just don't come to me for, like, money or, like, sue me or anything, okay?
I'm never coming to you for money. I know
Cool.
you don't have any.
Well, I don't want to talk about finances right now. You know how it is.
You know how it be.
You know I got those. I'm not going to say it.
I know all of Eddie's money goes straight towards tattoos.
That's not completely true. I've got plenty saved up. I keep telling people this. The only reason I get tattoos is because I have the money for them. Like I don't just spend all my money. Like I have savings.
Yeah.
I've worked to get the amount of money to where I can get the stuff to ruin my body.
That's very cool of you, Ed. I'm very
Thanks,
happy
man.
for you.
Thanks. Anyway, so do you get? Did you listen at all?
Yeah, I get the concept of the
Okay,
show.
cool. So there's only like one. There's like one thing that I've been worrying about in the time that you've like told me that you'd help me out and like record with me. We're like complete opposite people.
How so?
So, I mean, we're both like into like radio and shit and like
The audio world.
the audio world and
Theater of the
comedy
mind.
and yeah, all that
We're
kind of
both
stuff.
into theater of the mind quite a bit.
No, I just feel like we both have interest in stuff like this, right? So
Sure.
I'm like, okay, cool. That'll link up. But we're complete opposite when it comes to, I would say, moral values. Like I feel like you care about people genuinely.
Yeah, I mean, I care about people in my life, and I want those that are at least in my general radius to do well.
Yeah. No, I'm very selfish. I'm a very selfish person. And even when it's about people that I care about, like when someone asks me to do something, unless it has some direct, like if it doesn't interest me at all, I just don't want to do it, and I probably won't do it.
I don't feel like that's an option for me, though. I feel like I have to do
Exactly.
most things that people ask me to do.
Exactly. You're that kind of
But
person.
because I put myself in their position, if I needed some help, I would want someone to help me.
You see, what the difference between you and me, you're not a dickhead. Like
No, I
you're-
think a lot of people think I am, but I'm
No,
not.
I don't think people think you're a dickhead, Case.
No, I think there's a lot of people that like don't understand what I'm going for in life, and I think there are people that think I'm like a bad dude.
What are you going for?
Um,
What's the goal?
well, just I think a lot of people don't realize how seriously I take things because most of my life I live in bit mode because I am looking to make people laugh. Not that it's void filling need. I'm okay with silence and seriousness. I'm just far more intrigued and stimulated by laughter and what gets people to laugh. So a lot of my life is directed by that specifically, and how can I make this room full of people or this couch, this living room full of people, how can I make them laugh? And because of my sense of humor, which is often taking things that we know are bad and kind of manipulating them or leaning into them, I think some people, maybe their ignorance, maybe it's just the way I present myself, they don't necessarily understand that, so they get wrapped up in thinking that I'm this bad person.
Okay. So what you're saying is it's not as much of like I see it as like a defense mechanism.
That my kindness as a defense mechanism?
Not kindness, like your humor.
How so?
Like you use it. I do the same thing. Like don't get me wrong. So I use whenever I don't have any talents. I don't look good. You know, I'm not smart. So what I use is
no, Eddie, your tattoos are super cool.
dude, Case,
That
I'm gonna
Black
come
Pan-
over there. I'm gonna fucking dip my balls in your mouth. Okay?
That Black Panther tattoo you have?
Bro, if you
No,
don't
it's
shut the
super
fuck
cool.
up, dude, if you don't shut the fuck up, I swear to God, I'm gonna put my balls on your
Okay,
eyeballs.
so you're calling me out for using a coping mechanism. I'm not sure if that's true yet. So what's your take?
So it's I feel like it's a thing where I'm not saying you're not confident, but like it is a way to like. So everything's about fucking, right?
Sure.
Everybody wants to fuck. So if you're not like a Brad Pitt or like a musician or like you have to use your talents to get how you say it, poussé, right?
Yeah.
So you use humor. I do the same thing. I use humor, and that if you can get a girl to laugh, then you're good to go, right?
In theory, yes. In practice, it hasn't worked out super well.
But where I think we differ, I think we're the same there again. But the biggest difference is I feel like you care more about being a sense, in a sense, like being respectful. You know what I mean?
I care more about if I can co-sign the everything's about fucking. I don't think that's that outlandish of a take. But I would, if I just make someone laugh,
Yeah.
that's okay. Where I think a lot of people,
It makes you feel, it's like drugs. It's like meth. It releases serotonin, and then you're like, oh, fuck, I need
Well,
more.
I'm straight edge. I don't know anything about that.
Fuck.
So, but like.
That's
I-
another thing. You're a fucking straight edge bitch, and we don't relate on that.
We don't relate on that.
Not at all.
But I don't. Well, okay, so I think a lot of people want people to laugh so they can fuck. I want people to laugh because I think laughter is really interesting, and I just hope it leads to a fuck.
So okay, so we're the same there.
Sure.
I agree that that's basically what I'm going for in life. But where we've had this conversation at work before. We work on the same show.
We're cool dudes in the radio industry.
In the radio industry, we're not. I don't mention.
Lots of cool 18 to 24-year-old girls love FM radio.
I haven't. I didn't tell you beforehand. I probably should have. I don't ever mention the name of the show.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to get fired.
Well, yeah, that's a very good idea.
All right.
I
Cool,
mean,
cool,
that's
cool.
truthfully a good idea.
Cool. So we're on the same page here. Just in case, like, just don't let it slip out, or I'm gonna have to edit it out, and I'm gonna get really mad because I.
God forbid you have to do some post production.
Exactly. I don't like to do a lot of it. I mean, we have a producer, Bobby, producer. Shout out God. Shout out Bobby. But he doesn't actually produce the show anymore.
Okay, so get to the point. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My bad.
God.
So I'm just trying to like beat around the bush and not say that you're a woke comic.
I don't think I am.
Well, you are a self.
Eddie, let me say what I want to say.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to find myself in the current media landscape because I do comedy, or at least in theory, I do a lot of comedy. I like comedy. I'm loosely involved in the Chicago comedy scene. And I firmly believe that, like, a lot of people that go to shows or do comedy or in the scene somehow are too sensitive, and I think their walls need to be broken down a little bit. The problem is that the people making that argument about how people are too sensitive or PC culture, man, what's going on with that, which is now just a transitional statement for comics to use to get a mild applause before they go into another joke. I don't co-sign with that line of thinking either. I look at it more from an artist perspective of like, God, I wish the audience would have faith in comedians to go on this journey with them and know that it's going to be okay, and to know that not every joke perfectly aligns with maybe a comedian's moral values, because we're not up here preaching, we're up here joke telling. But I'm annoyed by performative wokeness more than almost anything on earth.
Oh shit, really?
I can't stand. Well, I mean, I hate liberal discourse, even if I agree with most of it. But there's nothing that's less appealing to me than agreeing with somewhat progressively minded people. Like, great, we agree, do something about it.
Okay, good. Because the biggest difference I thought that would be between us and would cause some problems in this episode is that, like, I would say something and you'd be like, you wouldn't be able to co-sign it because you're like, I like that brand of people.
Our gauges on maybe where the line is different.
Well, okay,
but I don't care.
What I'm saying is, so me and Tommy have proclaimed like pretty much everyone in Toledo, Ohio is a sexual predator, and we should just nuke them off the earth.
I don't disagree with that.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's Toledo, Ohio.
Good. Well, you know they are, like, it's like the number one sex trafficking place in the country, right?
Is that what it says when it says welcome to Toledo, Ohio?
Yeah, it's not a good place to be.
They promote that.
It's very boring. It's on the border. They're pretty much Michigan. Fuck Toledo. We don't need anything from them. They don't provide anything. It's like I don't want to get into it, okay? We talk about Toledo on end.
All right, so Eddie's telling stories from home again. Eddie, why don't you transition into talking to your guest again?
Yeah, sorry. So Case he's my friend. He's going to help us out today.
We're still doing the intro.
Yeah, see, you didn't realize we weren't done with that. We weren't done with that.
God.
So the majority of these people are from Ohio, like my people I know from home.
I'm from Indiana, so I understand your Midwestern values.
There we go. That's what I wanted to get to. You're just like...
It took us 15 minutes to get to the fact that I'm from Indiana.
I wanted to just kind of point out that you are a good Midwestern folk and that you'll be able to hang with the majority of the people.
I'm a good hang. That's part of what frustrates me, is because I don't do drugs or alcohol. People like don't invite me to things, which is fine. I'm okay. I'm not looking for social activities more often than not, but I'm a good hang when I'm there. I can match your energy, but I just don't. I have no interest in any of those types of things.
What's up with the why?
When I was in like 7th grade, I got really into like first wave hardcore punk in America. So like Minor Threat, Black Flag, Rites of Spring, that sort of deal, and those were all straight edge bands, or at least had straight edge qualities to them. And that was just something that was appealing to me, because I never understood it, like going through even like the DARE program, like not that I swore myself to sobriety, but I was like,
I did.
Yeah, I was like, none of this
I
stuff.
bought into that bandwagon, and then by the time I got to high school, it was kind of like someone was
But
like,
none of it ever sounded that fun to me. Like I didn't understand the appeal, and even now that I'm surrounded by it, like I can't believe it shocks me that people do it because it's not a part of my life. So I kind of forget that I'm in the minority and that everybody else, like a lot of people, have lives that revolve around it about getting to Friday so they can get fucked up, which really blows my mind. It's not something that like makes me curious. I don't have interest in it.
That's where I'm confused. Why, like, you've never done it, so you've never experienced what like being high or like getting drunk or anything like that is.
Correct.
So why not just like, don't you kind of want to have that moment in your life where so you can just be like, oh yeah, I do like it or I don't?
Not really. I'm not. I mean, right now I'm not necessarily the happiest person, but in life I'm comfortable with my
Sexuality.
Comfortable with most things that are going on in my life, and it's an altering decision one way or another, and I just don't want to tip the scales in that direction.
How do you feel about Mexican people?
They're good.
All right, good. Next question.
Yeah, I'm a woke comedian. They're good. Jesus Christ, Eddie. Hit me with it. Let's go.
Well, you think I prepared for the podcast?
No, I know
today?
you didn't.
Okay,
I did
good.
more prep than you did.
What did you prep?
No, go ahead.
No, I want to hear what you prepped.
I was wondering what medication are you on right now?
None.
None?
I'm finally off my meds.
Yeah, neither. I mean, I haven't been on meds in a while, but I'm off.
Did you like them?
I was on Zoloft for like 18 months, and then Prozac for like 6 months. Zoloft was cool for a while.
Dude, Zoloft is cool as shit.
So I was on Zoloft, and it was like doing its job pretty well. And then I don't understand the science behind it because I never really asked. But basically, my last like month and a half on Zoloft, it went from like cutting things in half, like these feelings, to like it flipped and it started to double them. So it just got like really dark really quick.
Oh, so it did the opposite of what it was supposed to do?
A little bit, but that was after a while. Like it started off really strong, and then somewhere along the way it just like changed. And then they're like, okay, let's try something new. And then I was on Prozac, and it made me too tired, and it just like it didn't make me feel like myself. So one day I just stopped taking it.
Prozac, that's what Tony Soprano was on.
It was. Have you seen The Sopranos?
I've watched it all the way through. I'm watching it again right now.
It's great. It's one of my favorite shows. It is my favorite show.
I want to live my life like Tony Soprano.
Did you see my Instagram story last night?
No.
There was a pizza place in Wrigleyville that has a Bada Bing special.
Oh shit, I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
That was I figured not a lot of people would understand that, but for the people that do.
I was going through like fucking, when you just kind of I don't really care about your life.
Do you ever think about how much content you consume that you immediately forget about?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been on Twitter 20 times today. I don't remember a single tweet I've seen.
Yeah, but it feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, it feels great.
That's another thing. People always talking about how like social media can ruin your mind and like it's going to be the death of us, and it's just kind of like when you see the number of hours that you spend on your phone, it kind of does get to you sometimes. Like, do you ever get that on your?
Well, I get the screen time updates.
Yeah,
and I'm always like, oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised by it.
But just I think because there's 24 hours in a day, and even if I'm on my phone for 2 hours a day, I'm like, well, okay. I was on it for 30 seconds at a time. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I missed anything.
If I spend 2 hours on my phone a day, that's still 22 hours of life.
Yeah, and I'm on my phone sometimes for work stuff or for school stuff.
Yeah.
Or I'm on the train and there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I feel like those numbers are misleading. I don't like looking at those statistics.
Exactly. And Twitter makes me laugh. It makes me for like 5 seconds that I'm on it, and I go through and I see
you feel kind
a
of
meme.
happy.
Yeah, when I see someone who's like, my asshole stinks, and I go, that's pretty funny.
And it's a fleeting happiness that goes away quickly.
Yeah. But in the moment, it's like nice. It's like smoking.
All right, Eddie, next question.
Wait, we were talking about something.
Oh, good. Let's circle back to whatever. Let's backtrack. No, Eddie, I don't know. Ask me a question.
I asked you about the Mexicans.
And I'm pro.
Pro-Mexican. And then I feel like you were...
You were saying that you didn't do any prep.
Yes,
and
but what came right after that?
I asked you about what drugs you're on.
Oh, fuck, yeah, we were talking about drugs. So, and then I asked you about okay, cool,
Yep.
cool.
So
We're back
now
on board.
we're
Don't
the
even
same
worry about
page
it,
as
baby.
the audience. Very cool.
All right. So, you were on Zoloft first. So when you're on meds, like even the Zoloft, which you said was doing its job at the beginning until it wasn't, did you feel like? I hate when people say I didn't feel like myself or like a zombie, because that's not. I feel like I understand what they're saying, but it's not the best descriptor. I feel like.
Yeah, no, completely. Because I think that's weird. But like Prozac just like made me tired all the time.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't stay awake. And then like I was like 17 and like started to like have no sex drive. I was like, that's an issue.
That's okay. So I was on Lexapro.
Yeah.
Same thing pretty much happened.
Yeah, the 9 minutes I listened to of one episode of this, I heard you talking about that.
Yeah, so I was on Lexapro, and I was only tired for like 2 weeks, because that's like a side effect. Everyone pretty much gets tired. But the biggest problem is my penis didn't work. So I stopped taking it because I ran out. And I have noticed that it's weird, because now I'm getting weird like fired signals, every once in a while, where like I noticed like there's a change. One of them's like, When I was on Lexapro, I would sleep and dreams would be fucking awesome. They'd be very like vivid, very cool. Like I'd enjoy sleeping. I still enjoy sleeping now, but now I have like, especially like the first 2 weeks I was off of it, I would have these nightmares, or not even nightmares, just like bad dreams, and I'd wake up. But I took it for panic attacks, right?
Sure.
I had bad anxiety for a while. I couldn't like go outside and stuff, or be in crowds.
Yeah.
And I haven't had any of that. So I feel like, okay, I'm cured. But I do still get the occasional panic attack while I'm asleep.
Oh, while you're asleep.
So I'll wake up to a panic attack.
Really?
But they're weird panic attacks. So like my heart will be pumping and like I'll feel nauseous and stuff, but my head won't be swimming, which was a big problem before. Because have you ever had a panic attack?
Yeah.
So you know how like you're thinking but you can't think straight?
Yeah, for sure.
That doesn't happen. But instead my body starts shaking like uncontrollably, like I'm shivering, and it's just weird.
That sounds awful.
That's one thing that's happened.
I used to have panic attacks while I played sports, but I didn't know
why.
Because I cared so much. But I didn't know what panic attacks were until I stopped playing sports, because that was when I was 16 and was like, most of my life I've been unhappy. Let's try to change this, which was just the way that those two events weren't correlated. It was just the timeline. And then that was when I started taking mental health really seriously, and I still do, and like am a completely different person than I was 4 years ago, which is a really good feeling.
Here's a problem case.
Okay.
Here's my problem, actually.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I talked about how I wanted to get off my meds for a while because I felt like my meds made me less funny. It's so true. Like, since I've been off my meds, I've been able to think like clearer, creatively, and like come up with shit that I wasn't able to before when I was on the meds, which I thought was a like serious problem. But the meds did work. That's the other problem. So on one hand, they do their job, and like I like that, so I could live my life again. On the other hand, I couldn't do the things that I liked, right? So I guess what I was trying to ask is did you have like a similar kind of, like when you're on Zoloft and Prozac, could you think, like I felt blocked. Did you feel like blocked? Like you were constipated mentally?
I sometimes struggle with that now more than I did then. Like recently,
Really?
I went back and I watched. I was in high school broadcasting all 4 years of high school, and I went back and watched my final exam for my senior year, which I did like a mockumentary on my own life.
Yeah.
I went back and watched that recently, and I could not believe, not necessarily how funny it was, but how like gutsy I was, and how I just went for this idea that I had and had no fear about it. And that would have been I think I was off my meds at that point, but still like in a high school state of mind.
Yeah.
And now, like, not that I write with fear, but I don't have this blind confidence that I had. And I think sometimes that prevents me from reaching the next level. And then, like, even with our job, sometimes I'll be asked to come up with creative ideas,
Which is fucking okay. Never mind. I don't want to shit.
and
It's kind of
I
ridiculous.
struggle with it because part of it's just, maybe sometimes the end goal isn't something that I would necessarily, it's not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
but
it is hard. It is hard to come up with creative. So when they do ask you to do stuff like that, they ask me stuff like that too. Like, hey, think of something to like make a post about, or like, we have an idea for a bit, like think of things that are funny or like evergreen ideas for stuff we could record so we can go on vacation, stuff like that. It's hard to a point to come up with stuff for the radio landscape where it has to be clean, it has to be quick, it has to be concise, it has to be radio material. When I'm sure you are full of awesome ideas that just wouldn't run in that medium.
I've learned with myself, I do really well with like writing prompts.
Yeah.
Or give me an idea and I will figure out how to make it better.
Yeah.
I can't just deal with an open landscape. Like I like to the dumb analogy that I've used is like, give me the sandbox and I can make something, but don't just tell me to go play. Like I need some sort of guideline or boundaries to work with, and then I think I do really well.
So you're a sub. You want someone to just come over and give you the business.
Next question, Eddie.
So but the meds though, you didn't feel blocked by them?
No.
Is that just a me thing?
At least, I mean, I don't remember, but I mean, it was also, I was a sophomore, junior, senior in high school.
Like Tommy's on meds too. And first off, I don't know if they're working at all based on the fact that the podcast died for a second.
It doesn't seem like it's going great from
It's
my
not.
perspective.
It's surprisingly, it's not. Not to put his business out there, but he's going through some medical
But he's a
problems right
public
now.
figure. We can air his grievances.
Exactly. I'm not saying exactly what's going on in his life, but things aren't, he's working on them. But the medicine, I just don't know if it's working. Maybe you should try something else. I feel bad. Maybe I should edit this out.
I don't know. Maybe you should make him a drug cocktail and see what he likes.
Yeah. Maybe I should give him fentanyl seems to be pretty popping right now.
Okay, Eddie.
Makes people feel good.
What else would you like to talk about?
No, I'm still on these drugs things,
Oh
Case.
my
Don't even
God.
worry about it. So I noticed it did make me feel, it felt like it blocked my mind. And now that I'm off of it, I can start thinking again for not for myself, but just like thinking the ways that I did before. And that's great. But I'm also worried that, okay, my biggest problem is I should probably be in like therapy and stuff.
Yeah.
But I kind of find the mental health, like talk therapy, I kind of think it's a crock of shit.
Have you ever heard of EMDR therapy?
No, what is that?
It's
is
like-
it EDM? It's like
not-
they play
it's
sick
not
beats for you?
EDM therapy. Eddie, that was funny. It took us a half hour. We finally said something funny. EMDR therapy is like trauma reducing therapy. It's kind of a newer practice, but I can pinpoint doing that and my life before.
Wait, okay. What the trauma? You just said a lot of big words and I don't get it. What is it supposed to do? What's different about it from other talk therapy?
It's part talk, but part more like an exercise almost. But
So you fight your therapist.
no.
That'd be pretty sick. If you go in, he's just like, "You ready to get this out?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, brother."
I think there are places to do that aren't therapy.
He's like, "Let's start with your mother," and then he like fucking whips some what are they called, brass knuckles out, and then you have to like dodge them.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say boxing gloves, but you went straight for brass knuckles.
Well, I mean, I want it to count. I want it to actually hurt.
Yeah, fair. EMDR therapy is like trauma reducing therapy. So they take traumatic events in your life and you kind of work through them in this timeline, and it lessens the impact of them in your mind. So there's a very specific like pinpoint in my life of like when I did this and how I was before, and now how I respond to these events afterwards.
That's my response. Okay, so that's my problem actually.
But I also am a big believer in talk therapy and like talk therapy a lot.
Talk therapists nut over trauma. Like that's their favorite thing. They like to pick apart like what point in your life in your childhood that you just like are suppressing at the moment. Like who touched you as a kid or
what
whatever.
else are they supposed to do?
Exactly, that's their job.
Yeah.
My problem is I don't have any trauma.
Well, I don't have like these life. I just have things that like I'm embarrassed by that I talked about, or like things that like have stuck in my mind for far too long that I kind of wanted to purge. But I don't have any like dark skeletons in my closet.
Yeah, but that's what they want. Like I've been turned away. So. I've been turned away by. So every time, here's my experience with talk therapy. The first therapist I went to was when I was like I must have been like a freshman or sophomore in high school. And I went there and I was telling him the problems, because I don't go to women therapy. Come on.
Okay, I have a lot to say about this. But go ahead. I'll let you finish first.
So I went there and I was trying to tell him exactly like what I was going through. And he turned everything. It seemed like he was attacking me. Like he was coming back at me like, well, this is your fucking piece of shit. You piece of shit. You're a fucking piece of shit. That's what the problem is.
Do you
You're
think
a piece
you're
of shit.
projecting onto him right now?
No, I think this is exactly what he said word for word, Case. He came at me like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, fuck this shit. So I left. That could just be like wrong therapist for me. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
Sounds likely.
And then a couple months ago, it got to a point where I'm like, the medicine's not working too good. I should probably go up my dose. So I went to see a psychologist to get my dose up. My dose upped.
Your dose upped.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I went to this guy, and he was a complete crock of shit. So he went in. He was looking for like all the trauma all at once. He was like, "Tell me about your family." I'm like, "Oh, I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
Both my parents, no divorce. No
Ohio, lots of money.
Lot.
No
I mean,
heroin.
not lot. Why'd you say we have lots? We don't have lots of money. Why are you assuming we have lots of money?
Just a lucky guess.
What do you mean? Based off what?
Just
What are you trying to say right now,
just
dude?
what I know about you.
Okay, but no, yeah, money wasn't a problem.
Weisfeld.
We lived pretty comfortable lives. We had 2 boats.
A summer boat and a winter boat.
No, 2 summer boats. So I had a good childhood, is what I'm saying. Like I didn't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
I was good in school. I played sports. I enjoyed them.
Yeah,
Eddie,
I
had plenty of friends.
I know you think we're polar opposites, but I had a very similar upbringing.
I'm not saying polar opposites like that. I see, like I meant more of like our style of. I was worried that we were polar opposites when it comes to something like this, because I was going to bring you in and talk about how like I want to finger an Asian man's asshole, and you'd be like, whoa, we can't talk about that.
Okay, so you were at a psychiatrist, and
so I was at yeah, and he was looking for stuff like he's like, tell me about your family. I was like, oh, all good there. And then he was like, okay, well, tell me about, do you have a girlfriend? I was like, yeah. And he was like...
and did he fist bump you?
Yeah, he went, nice. Humble brag.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, well, how's the relationship going? I'm like, all good. Like, nothing too bad. Yeah. I mean, if I went back now, I could be like... That was early in the relationship.
Hey, about that girlfriend.
Yeah, about that girlfriend. She's great, though. Don't get me wrong. She's probably going to listen to this.
Of course. Love her.
Now I have to backtrack and make sure she doesn't hate me. She's
you
great.
Think she's making it a half hour into this podcast.
She's great. She's great.
She's great. She's not making it a half hour into this.
I tell that all the time. So I'll be like, I'll ask her about the episode. Mm-hmm. I'll just be like, oh, did you listen? She'll be like, yeah. I'm like, you don't have to listen, right? Because I know it's shit. I know the entire the.
I don't think it's bad. I just don't think she should have to listen to this.
That's what I also tell her. I'm like, you don't have to. Like, just because you're dating me, just because we have intercourse, doesn't mean that you have to be interested in. You listen to me enough.
You don't have to be interested in me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she insists that she listens to every episode. I'm like, dude, don't do that. You're going to listen too much of it. You're going to get sick of me, and then, things are going to go down. I have trust issues.
Okay, so you saw the psychiatrist.
So I saw the psychiatrist. I was telling him, like, everything's good there. Pretty new relationship at that time. Nothing to worry about. He's like, okay. And then he looked at my arms. He's like, oh, I see you have a lot of tattoos. What's the meaning behind every tattoo? I've told Case and I have had this conversation before about how I don't put any meaning into the shit I put on my body.
It's an insane way of thinking.
Why? I just like, so the whole reason I started getting tattoos, first off, an ex-girlfriend told me that I wouldn't. So I said, bet. And then that's probably the main reason why I got them.
I would maybe open with that next time you go back to therapy.
Yeah. But then I started liking them. So, the way I explain it is I look at my arm because I get bored. Like, I could be in a meeting or, like, at school or something.
What a dumb thing to say.
And I'll get bored.
I look at my arm because I get bored.
Would you rather look down at your arm and just see a freckle, or look down and see a fucking sick dagger?
I've got a giant mole on my left arm. That's kind of what I tend to look at.
That's not as cool as an elephant, which is, that is my favorite animal, so I guess that has some meaning. But besides that, there's no meaning behind it. I have no meaning behind any of my tattoos. I just think they look cool, and I like to look at them when I'm bored. And that's what I told him. He's like, none of them have any meaning at all. And I was like, no. And he's like, I can't be your doctor. And I was like, what? He's like, I I am into. He said I'm into, which I thought was weird too.
He wants to vibe
Like this
with
is
the following.
Yeah, he's like I'm doing a full vibe check right
Yeah.
now, and you're just coming back negative.
I'm getting feedback.
We're
on this
just
vibe
not
check.
getting the same dude.
Not on the wavelength.
But he was saying I like deep psychotherapy, and I went that was a lot of big
I
words.
said, tell me more.
Yeah, and he's like you just
How deep?
He's like you're obviously not interested in that, and I went how do you? We've been talking for 10 minutes. How would you know that? I came to you because I want to try this. And so he was just like, I'm not going to be your doctor, but here are some drugs anyway. So he gave me drugs.
Solid.
And then I ran out of the drugs I was on, and I forgot to fill out his prescription. And then it was this whole thing. So I didn't have meds for a while. And then I just haven't gone back on them since. But that was a crock of shit because he didn't help me out. And then he insisted at the end of it, he's like, so your copay is probably gonna be like $30, $40, $20 to $40. So I'll just take 30. That's fine. You can make it out, cash or whatever. And I was like, I have insurance. That'll probably pay that. And he's like, no. Like, just pay it. Do you have cash on you now? And I was like, no.
He just tried to rob you at the end of that session.
Yeah. So and that's the two experiences of it. One tried to rob me, and the other just blamed me for everything. So I think it's a bunch of bullshit. I've never had a conversation with someone and come out of it on the other end feeling better about myself.
Wow.
What?
You need to have better conversations.
No. I have good conversations, but I'll go away thinking oh, that was a good conversation. Like, I'm glad I had that talk with that person. But I never leave it and be like, I just unlocked something in my body. Like, I'm a better person for that.
Eddie, ask me my history with therapists.
All right. Tell me.
Okay.
What's
I'm hosting this show now. Great.
Yeah.
I saw one therapist one time when I was 9 or something.
9?
Yeah.
So you did have childhood trauma. See, I didn't have childhood trauma.
I
just started being unhappy.
I was just telling somebody about this because I don't know why I went. I just know my whole family went, but it wasn't like it wasn't family counseling. Like we weren't in a room together.
You have a very progressive family then. Just man, we should get our minds checked up.
But yeah, I don't really want to ask, but I don't know why we did it. I just remember being very specifically asked multiple times if I was suicidal, which I wasn't, but it was something. It was a concept that I was at least aware of.
You weren't suicidal?
Not at the time.
This fucking guy.
And then
it's not even suicidal.
And then my freshman year of high school, I started seeing this lady named Rachel, who I still see to this day.
Shout out Rachel.
Shout out Rachel. Shout out God. So
you're catching it. You're getting it.
I still see Rachel. I've been seeing her for almost 7 years now. And
do you have any sexual thoughts about her?
No.
All right, cool.
I have none.
Just had to throw that in there.
But
Sopranos, remember Tony?
Yes.
He wanted 5th episode. He wanted to fuck his therapist.
Yeah, it's a whole arc throughout the entire show.
That's actually what I was on. Me and my girlfriend were watching it together, and that's the episode we were on. So
yeah,
I used
to watch The Sopranos with my now ex-girlfriend. Thanks for bringing that up, Eddie.
Why do we always talk about
my ex-girlfriend?
No, man,
because I bring it up constantly.
Not
because I still have a lot of feelings about it.
Not even just that, dude. Not even just that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that I have. I don't even care that I have a girlfriend. You know.
Okay, I'm not into.
Why am I talking about?
I'm not into Eddie's nihilism hour right now.
What is wrong with me?
Stuff.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
So one, I could never see a male therapist. I have very few male friends in life. I don't have interest in talking to that many men. Most men annoy me very easily.
What about me?
I'm talking to you. I like you.
Oh, cool.
But most men I can't stand. And that's not like a
cool.
Like a reverse feminism deal or I hate men. I'm just not. Most men I don't find compelling.
Wait, here's a question for you. Were you a mama's boy? I let me answer before.
No, not really.
Okay, because I don't want to be mama's. I am a mama's boy.
I don't think so.
Really?
No, but also my relationship with my parents has changed drastically in the past few years.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm much closer to them now.
Yeah. That's just part of life, though.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. But
I call my mom. I don't call my dad. Not that I don't love him. It's just I know my mom will talk to me.
I talk to my dad more, but we have more things in common. We can text about a lot of
Me and my dad have okay. Maybe it's an age gap thing because my dad's old as shit.
How old's your dad?
My dad's in his 60s.
Okay, my dad just turned 56.
Yeah. So I have an old dad.
Yeah.
And he's into cars and fixing shit, and I'm into sports and
So my
masturbating.
my dad's into sports.
Yeah. So if my dad was, here's the thing though, he's super like, he showed up to every single like sporting event I've ever been in though.
Yeah, my dad often coached, not head coach, but was often an assistant coach. On
Okay,
most
so
things I did.
that's the big difference. So like, I feel like I'd be like friends with my dad if he was into sports and stuff like that. But since we have differing interests, he tries to have interest. Like he watches the Browns and he watches everything I watch, and he's a fan of every team I'm a fan of. But I just don't think he's on the same level of like being obsessed with something as gay as that.
Yeah, well, like my dad and I could talk about sports, music, or Howard Stern, and we can fill a 3-hour car ride from Chicago to Indiana with those topics specifically. Whereas, like, my mom is super interested in everything I'm doing, but it only goes so far. So we can have a 90-minute discussion on those three things where she's just guiding me into conversation. Whereas my dad and I can have a back and forth that lasts 3 hours.
Yeah, I can't do that. That sounds like a 3-hour ride in the car with my dad. Just thinking of that just gave me like anxiety.
Oh, I love it. I'm a big car talk guy, but I like talking. That's how I get through things. That's why I bring up the same stuff constantly, because if something's bothering me, I like to talk about it because I like to work through it that way.
Yeah.
I like conversation more than anything on earth. That's kind of something that I've had to figure out now that I'm in a what am I going to do post-college mindset, and I'm interested in the things I'm interested in. I'm trying to figure out a way to talk to as many people as possible. I like just the back and forth nature of a conversation more than I like being on stage by myself or having to learn a script that has a ton of movement in it.
Yeah.
Or a ton of nonsense. I like the dialogue of life.
That's beautiful, man.
Thanks, Eddie.
I think I might.
But you should look into EMDR therapy. I think that would help you out because it's
EMDR therapy. I still don't get what the difference between. Okay, here's the thing about talk therapy. I just think it's a lot of bullshit because you can't talk through the thing. Pills work. I know for
You Motley Crue.
I know for a fact that pills work. If you take a pill, the chemicals. I don't know how we figured it out.
The chemicals between us.
They just work. They just they click the things correctly, and then you feel better. But like talk therapy, it's like it's a crapshoot, and you're assuming that it's like getting a massage on your brain, except you're not.
But Eddie, I don't go.
And I actually took some interest into it. I'm like, I need to get better as a person, like get this mind right. So I took a class, the psychology class that everyone takes in college.
Yeah.
And the more I read about it, like even in the textbook, they're like, this isn't pseudoscience. We promise. We know that every other form of science tries to say this is pseudoscience, but we swear this isn't pseudoscience. Here's what pseudoscience is. This is what we do. And I'm like, that's kind of similar. And they're like, but wait, we're not pseudoscience. They say it like twice a chapter. So I think it's a pseudoscience.
But I don't go into talk therapy I go monthly when I'm home. I've thought about seeing somebody in Chicago, but I like my therapist so much that I don't necessarily want
like
to start
cheating
over
on
with someone new.
Yeah.
But I don't go in there, even on my worst days, I don't go in there with like, these are the 5 things that are messing me up. I go in there, it's like, okay, I know I need to talk about this, but I also want to talk about this episode of The Sopranos that I just saw and this new album I heard that I like. And then I'll sandwich some of the heavier stuff in between that. But
to make it palatable, it's like putting.
They are there to listen to whatever you want to talk about. Like that is their job. So I don't go in there with all bad things. A lot of it is like me going to my therapist like, oh my god, I just heard this album. It is unbelievable. Track 3 on it is just I can't believe they did that. It's so good. And then she goes, yeah, okay, cool. And then I move on to the next topic. But she has to listen to me for that hour.
You're paying. It's like how you're my friend because you need school credit. You're paying them so they have to be your friend.
It's like conversational prostitution, almost like an escort service where like...
That's like P. Diddy. I think P. Diddy pays for his friends. Or I don't know what he goes by now.
P. Diddy has a lot of money.
So he only...
he acquires friends that way.
He literally has to pay people to be his friend. Like
if P. Diddy paid me, I would be his friend. I would be his friend for free. I
That's
like
so
him.
sad to me.
He was on the Chris Gethard show, so he's very cool to me. Do you know what the Chris Gethard show is?
No.
You would like it. I'll show it to you off mic.
Oh, that's hot.
Next question, Eddie.
Wait, no, we were talking about your. So is that where it ends with the your?
I'm just pro therapy. I like it a lot, but I also know from very real experiences that not everybody is. But it's my go-to when people are in a rut. Is I recommend the thing that worked for me, and I understand that everybody's different and that therapy's not for everyone, especially talk therapy. But when people have similar struggles to what I've gone through, I feel like at the very least I can point them in the direction of what helped me become a more alive person, which is, I think, why anybody who has interest in getting better, I think that's what they're going for, is just to live a better, fuller life in a way.
I feel alive enough. Maybe we should have a live talk therapy session with Tommy if we can ever get him the fucking to like record again.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll save him.
I'm pro therapy, but I understand that not everybody is. But I at least,
Are
if
you-
you're interested,
Are you pro China?
I don't know. If I was the NBA, I would of course want Chinese money. If I was any business, I don't necessarily believe in ethical consumption, so of course I would want Chinese money. But I also understand the moral aspect of working with a dictatorship and how that's wrong.
We're very anti-China here on this podcast.
Wow.
They're at least
A
the
bold
government.
take.
At least the government, because
Yeah.
they've taken us down twice.
This podcast or us as Americans?
No, this podcast.
Oh,
specifically.
okay.
We've had to fight the Chinese government twice and won both times, but still, they're kind of a piece of shit. So we're very anti-China. Just throwing that in there.
Good to know.
Just feeling the waters, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up, or we were talking about how like having to be. Okay, I found out yesterday I'm an asshole. I'm just like a dickhead.
What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. It was just I finally realized that I'm not a good person, and I think I'm okay with it.
Have you heard the song? I know you haven't, but I'm gonna ask anyways. Have you heard the song "I'm Not a Good Person" by Pat the Bunny?
I don't like music.
You don't like, which drives me insane. I
Yeah.
don't understand that.
Music is kind of just bleh. You know?
But okay, so you're an asshole. Why?
I was at a concert yesterday.
Well, you can use that term loosely. It was a coin show.
It was so I wasn't very interested in the band.
No, and I love music, and I wouldn't go to that show.
I'd never listened to them, but my girlfriend wanted to go and she had tickets, so I was like, cool, yeah, let's
It makes
go.
sense. A lot of hot chicks listen to Coin. I just don't like the music.
Well, here's when I got there. Did I tell you about this? It was an all-age show.
No.
So it was, yes, all girls, but they were all like 15.
And where'd they play?
They played at the Vic.
Oh, word. Okay.
But, dude, shout out. That's a little inside baseball Chicago style. If you're from Chicago, dude, you know what the Vic is. So we get there. Also, it was a lot smaller. The Vic is a lot smaller.
The Vic
than I
is
thought.
weirdly small.
Yeah. It's cool. I like the layout.
It's a nice
They have a good
venue.
layout.
Cage the Elephant recorded a live album there and did like a concert movie with it that
Yeah.
makes the Vic look much bigger than it actually is.
Definitely is not that big.
But I saw Joyce Manor and Wunderbar there last year, and when I walked in, I was like, oh my god, this is it. Wow.
So
This is really small. It's like if you're a Chicago person who's been to the Riviera, it's a smaller version of
the
the
Riv is even, the Riv's bigger.
The
and
Riv is
it's not-
Riv is very big,
Yeah.
and it's the same setup where they've got those like elevated platforms the
Yeah,
further
yeah.
you go back, but the Vic is just a smaller version of that.
I think I like the Vic more though. I don't know why.
I think the best show I've ever seen was at the Riv, so it's hard for me to say.
I've only seen. I don't even remember which band I saw at the Riv. I had to work an event there once, like a concert. The only concerts I've been to are the concerts I was forced to go to for work, and then this one. So I've been to like I think in total 4 concerts in my life.
I've been to 2 in this past week, and both were by choice.
Jesus Christ, I don't get that. Music sucks. So I went to this concert anyway.
Yeah.
And they did this thing where in the middle of a song, or they did like their 2 opening songs, and then they're like, "These are my friends." The main guy was like, "Hey, Chicago. My name's I don't know his name. My name's McHenry Coin Master, and these are my friends."
This
and
is
then
such
he
a
named them
long
off.
way of telling what I know is going to be a short story.
Well, and then he was like, "So right now, it's all about this song's about friendship." So I want you to turn to the person on your left and introduce yourself and make a new friend. And I instantly was like, fuck that. I do not want to.
Well, I don't want to do that either.
So I'm not an asshole. I think I realized yesterday that I don't want to be. If I'm being forced to meet someone, fuck that. If like I don't want to meet new people. I like meeting new people. Like when I make a new friend, it's awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, like you were a good discovery, even though you were forced to be my friend. But
I kind of knew who you were before we started working together, and I had heard good things.
Yeah, because I'm a cool fucking guy. Everyone was like, that Eddie kid?
Dude, the way he passes out headphones to people that need them,
Dope.
really cool.
Yeah, I used to work for the...
That's how I knew who you were, because you were never on time.
I was on time every time.
Never on
my
time.
shifts, I worked for a little backstory here. I worked for our school.
More localized content.
I worked for our school, the
Yes.
school that we go to, in the radio department. So I worked in the office, and we have studios up on in the radio department. So I would like unlock those and book people for that and help people with tech issues and hand out headphones. So there was one class that started half an hour before my shift started. So they would always need their headphones, but I wasn't there. So Case is saying that I wasn't there even though I wasn't supposed to be there. So fuck you. Eat my ass from the back.
So you think you're an asshole because a shitty band
Told me to become friends with people.
To introduce yourself to the people on both sides of you.
And I didn't even consider turning.
No, I wouldn't want to either. Unless to circle back, unless it was a cute girl next to me, which you have your girlfriend there, so you're disqualified. But if I'm there, I go to most concerts alone. So if I'm there,
That's weird to me. I can't do anything alone. I've never been to a movie by myself.
I like doing a lot of things alone. It's a little bit of like a cover up of like, well, I'll just go to this thing alone. Like a lot of the time when somebody says that, I think it's because they're too afraid to ask somebody, or they want to like dampen how excited they are about something. But with concerts, I genuinely enjoy going to them alone because I don't like a lot of the same music that my friends do. So I'm not going to drag somebody to this show that's not going to have a good time, because I know if I just stand, kind of in the front to the right, which is where I like to stand, like I'm going to have a great time at this show because it's just going to be me and this band that I enjoy, and it's a personal experience. Whereas these past two shows I've gone to, I've gone with people, and it's been a good time. Like, especially like the show on last Saturday that I went to, like I met with one of my friends there.
Yeah.
And like, great dude. I love singing because I don't get to see him that often. It was great. And then, but I still, if I was at those shows alone, I would have had just as much fun, if not even more.
Because you like listening to the music?
Yeah, that's why I go to concerts, believe it or not, is to listen to music. I know some people go as just a means to go somewhere to get fucked up, but I go there to listen to the music.
That was the only thing I wanted to do there, and I didn't.
Well, it's a coin show. I would consider drinking if I had to go to a coin show.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't like I wasn't interested in the music, but I mean, it was still. It's like live music, so you can still feel the drum beat in your asshole. So you still kind of like.
Did you wear earplugs?
I should have.
I've started wearing earplugs to shows, and I get made fun of for it, but I don't care.
Why? Dude.
We have to hear to do our job.
Shit hurts.
I was at a show. There's another venue in Chicago called the Bottom Lounge.
Yeah, I know.
And I was there in May. I saw the Smoking Popes and Sincere Engineer and the Sidekicks. It was a really good show.
Dude, you're so cool knowing all these bands.
But the Bottom Lounge has these giant speakers right up front that I think are unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think it just blows everything out of proportion. And I was standing right next to one of those speakers all night long, and I couldn't, like, my ears were ringing for like the next 3 days, and it really spooked me.
Yeah.
Because that was like the worst it's been. Because typically, like, if you don't wear headphones or earplugs to a show, like, you go home and your ears ring, and then the next morning, like, I would have trouble hearing, but it would go away. But this was like a few days of that, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I went to an acoustic show. I don't need earplugs for an acoustic show. I went and saw Morrissey at like this great big amphitheater that is like properly like mixed. So I didn't need earplugs for that. No. But when I go to these punk shows at smaller venues, I need earplugs now.
I don't wear because we throw these big events at, because we throw 2 a year. There's like a winter jam thing that we put on, and then there's like the summer concert, the two big
so for the summer one, I wouldn't wear
summer
earplugs.
One I didn't wear, it was fine.
For the winter one, I'm probably going
because that's in a smaller venue. It's not that small, but it's still small. It's inside.
Relatively smaller.
If it's inside and it's not an arena, I'm probably going to.
No, that's very true.
But I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of wish I had headphones yesterday. Not headphones. I want to get those things that babies wear at concerts.
I don't know what those are.
You've never seen a baby at a concert with this huge
I've never
like
seen
hunting.
a baby at a concert.
Really?
No.
Dude, that is the dumbest thing you could do. Bring your kid to a concert.
Yeah, there was a.
They're gonna be deaf.
There was an article that came out from like some awful like Slate or Paste or some awful magazine last year that was complaining about how the band The National, who are already like a so-so band that I think live off of reputation more than anything. But it was about a National fan complaining that too many kids were at National shows. And I was like, God, this is just the worst group of people. Like, I wouldn't want to go to a National show to deal with the adults there.
Yeah.
And now they're complaining there are kids there. That's really messed up.
I don't relate to that at all because I have no idea who that band is. But kids at concert is still
You would
weird.
not like them.
Okay, cool. I don't really like anyone.
I can show you music you like. I've shown you music you like.
Yeah, but it's like there's like I like Idols. I like
I think it's funny you like Idols.
Why?
It's just funny to me.
Why are they
It's
bad
just that,
band?
like that's the band.
Are they bad?
No, they're fine.
All right.
I know a lot of people that really like them. I
think
just
they're
think it's
dope.
funny that that's one of the few bands you like for sure know.
I like them. I like fucking the Glorious Sons. Of course I like every emo
Well, you love
pop
alternative
band.
music.
No, I don't. I like rap. I like a lot of rap.
I showed you a band called Odd Robot from San Diego, California that you really liked, and
Yeah.
I showed you a band called La Dispute that you were kind of into as well.
But you see, I don't remember either of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how sometimes like when you're into sports, you'll get this. So there'll be players that you don't really pay attention to, but you still know their name, so you can relate to it. Like, oh yeah, they're pretty good, right? You're like that with bands, where you're like, you might not even listen to their music very much, but if you hear a band name, you'll be like, oh, I've heard of them.
Typically,
Like,
I at least know something about them.
Yeah.
I try to.
I have no idea, even about big bands that people.
Yeah,
are
you're a
fucking-
casual. You're like somebody that like knows LeBron in the NBA,
Nah,
but
that's
like
too
doesn't
general.
doesn't
like knowing.
know they don't know who Giannis is yet.
Okay.
Like you need a band to either be on your team, which is the small circle of music that you like, or you need it to be like LeBron level famous. But even like basketball famous people, like a Giannis or an Anthony Davis or whatever, like you would not know who they are
In the music world.
in the music world.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I was about to be like, bro.
No, I
what are
get
you
it,
talking
Eddie.
about
I get
right
it. You like sports. You're really cool.
Yeah, I'm fucking really into sports, and I have a big dick. Do you shave your balls?
No, well, yes, but a website that I work for recently got an ad deal with Manscaped.
Okay. Not to throw you under the bus, do you do ads with them still? Are they a sponsor? They're not a sponsor.
They're
with
not a
us, so-
sponsor for my show on the network, but they're a sponsor for the website.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to shit on them. Manscaped is bullshit.
Okay.
If we ever get a sponsorship from them in the future, forget I said this. So if you use clippers on your balls, you're not getting the perfect
I
shape.
don't use clippers.
Yeah, the only thing that actually they're not bullshit because they do also sell like a straight. It's just a name.
I want the deodorant they have.
They're selling a name instead of like their product isn't. I mean, you can take it in the shower and shave your balls and stuff, but you're better off just using that on your face. You need not a straight razor, but just like a regular.
Yeah, you don't need a straight razor.
like a Bic.
Yeah,
I use a
that's what
Bic on my
I've never
balls.
used clippers on those before.
Oh no, yeah. You need to do just the fucking clippers on the I used to, but like so now that it's winter or it's getting colder out, I might start keeping some hair on my balls and my pelvis just because it's like, keep the boys warm. But like at the same time, I don't know about you, but I take a lot of pride in my manscaping. Like,
I don't think I do a very good job of it.
I do a great job. So I have like I would say near porn star level like cleanliness.
Cool, Eddie.
But I plan to start doing like some cool fades and stuff into my pubes come winter.
5 on top, 3 on the sides.
Yeah, and like maybe even put like how black guys get the designs.
Like what guys?
Black guys.
Okay.
They get the designs like the NYC, even though they're from Dallas. They put like NYC into the side of their head with the star. I might do stuff like that with my pubes. Looking
Next
forward
question.
to it. I also wish I really do wish I could share. Like, I wish it wasn't weird to just take a picture of your balls and put it on the internet because they're impressive. Like, I would say they're baby smooth.
Well, there are corners of the internet that would welcome that.
Yeah, but I don't like it. I'd probably not be able to get a job in the future, and
Just don't put your face on the photo.
yeah. But because I want people I know to see my balls and have it not be weird.
Yeah, that I don't know what to tell you.
I just want it to be known how smooth my balls are. Like if I was at a party and I could just whip them out and be like, feel them. This isn't sexual. Like it would have nothing to do with sexuality. It would have to do everything with like, wow, those are really smooth.
You know, if we were still living in August of 2017, I would say you can, but we're living in a post-Me Too world now, so that's frowned upon.
I would only ask. I would ask for. I mean, it would be consensual if I would be like, hey, would you feel my balls if that's okay? Oh my God. Only if you want. But I wish that was like a normal thing.
Eddie, ask me something else.
We were talking about something. Oh yeah, I'm an asshole. I just kind of realized in that moment when I immediately was like, no, I do not want to talk to anybody else. And then I kind of really thought into it. Like in my day-to-day life, I don't even want to talk to people that I'm supposed to talk to. Sometimes I'm just not a good person. I don't want new friends. I don't like people. I don't like people's interests. Like I'm just doing me.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I also don't think you're a bad person.
You say that, but it's so true. There's a lot of people who thought at the beginning that I'm not a bad person, and then they quickly find out that it's quite the opposite.
I think as long as you don't screw me over professionally, I won't have an
Not
issue
yet.
with you.
Nah, I wouldn't screw you over professionally. I don't do shit like that, but like
Yeah, that would be my biggest concern, but personally,
emotionally,
I don't see any red flags.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't kill anyone. I don't think I'd kill anyone. Not on purpose, at least. I don't hold that inside. But yeah, I listened to that. Like, I went and I didn't like the music. The good thing about that concert is you
The
can't
underage
hear
girls?
No.
Okay.
But the
Just thought I'd check.
you can't hear the lyrics because it's so loud. You just can't hear whatever the fuck they're saying. I think that actually helped because then I could just listen to the guitar for indie bands sucks anyway. It's the same thing and every song is like ding 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 ding. It's fucking stupid. I hate it. But the drums were pretty good, so I would
do
just
like drums.
Yeah, I would just feel that in my ass, and then do you know what I'm talking about when you feel it in your asshole?
Because
it's so loud.
I feel it on my feet more.
You feel it on your feet. You feel it on your dick. Like you feel it everywhere. But I feel it like when it gets into your asshole. That's when you know that it's like good. Like yeah.
The band I saw last week in the opener, Culture Abuse, this was the second time I had seen them. They're a Bay Area punk band. They like started out their show
cool man.
with like every instrument like went boom,
Yeah.
and I it hit me.
Yeah, in your asshole.
I felt it all over my entire body.
But like in your asshole.
Sure, Eddie. Yes. God.
Do you get it though? Like you
No, Eddie, I get it.
You understand what I'm saying? When
No,
you
I
feel it in your
understand.
asshole, that's the best. It's like a stimulant. That's where the male G spot is. I think.
Understood.
What were you saying about that band though?
They were good.
I do have one other thing that we could probably talk about before this episode's over.
It's your show. I don't care.
But I didn't want to, like, because you probably came. Did you come with stuff you wanted to talk about?
No,
'Cause
we talked about what I want to talk about.
Okay, cool. Actually, this is actually pretty good because if we have you back, this is like the introduction to Case. So this is a little bit different from what the usual is. But now now that we understand who you are, we can bring you back and put you into the EPS world. There's a lot of things that you got to learn, but we'll put you into it. Here's one thing. It sucks because we do this at work, and I don't want it to be a thing like that. But Case,
Never mind. Go ahead. I was gonna get us both in trouble.
wait, what are you gonna say?
I can't.
We do it. Okay, so there's this bit that we do on the show that we work on, where they're trying to get you. I think the whole goal is to try and get you a girlfriend or something, but I think Case just needs to come, right?
No.
Case needs to come. Make Case come 2019.
I already don't like the direction this is going.
My boy Case, he already said earlier in the episode that he can't get over his ex. What's up with that, dude? Why is that?
Well, I dated someone who I consider to be my best friend for 2 years.
Yes.
And then they left me really unexpectedly. And
Hey, thanks for using gender-neutral pronouns, by the way.
I did. You're right. That's really weird that I said they. She left me really unexpectedly and just in a way that even though I understand and in a way respect what she did, it just left me really cold and hurt over the entire situation. So now we're 6 months after the fact, and I get
we're only 6 months after the fact,
and I
thought we were much longer.
No, see, I get angry that I'm still hung up on it 6 months later.
Nah, 6 months is fine. Now that I know, man, that ruined the entire thing because I just wanted to make you come. But like 6 months, yeah, you should definitely still be feeling it.
But
I would say
a lot of people, and this goes back to maybe what we talked about in the beginning of just my styles of comedy. A lot of it is, me joking or making comments to women or about women just because I feel very comfortable like saying when I'm attracted to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people think that I'm like desperate or that I have this like horrible like sexual frustration that needs to be acted upon immediately. But
you do seem like you need to come.
Well, doesn't everybody?
Yes.
Yeah,
But
so
like,
I don't think I'm special in that regard.
No, but like I want to make you gush. Not personally, but like
general. over the summer I was stuck in Indiana and I was kind of only in Indiana to spend time with that girl and then like we broke up the first week of summer. So I had 3 months of being in Indiana just with not much to do other than work. So at some point during the summer like I downloaded like the dating apps and I hated them for a lot of reasons, but I kept them when I moved to Chicago because I was like, maybe Chicago will be better. Yeah. But I was just on them, and I felt so ridiculous because
it's a lot harder to make those work. You would think it'd be easier since there's so many people, but I always found it easier when I was single using like Tinder and stuff back home, like in Ohio, than it is in a big city like this because there's so many more attractive people here.
Yeah, well, and we're funny. We're not good looking.
Yeah, that's
a
probably
huge part
thing.
of it.
Yeah.
But I just felt so ridiculous being on them because, like, I would feel so silly, like, living where I live, and then if I have, like, taking the red line to go hook up with somebody, like, that's not something I would do. Like, I would feel ridiculous doing that.
I would not, but that's me.
I like commitment, and I like being in relationships for a number of reasons. Like, I feel really comfortable when I'm in a relationship, even though I haven't been in that many, because it's not like I dated in high school. But there's a certain level of just, like, stability there that I really enjoy. And I don't like being single, not for, like, confidence reasons or because I need somebody, but I just think life's a little bit more fun when you're in a relationship, and I miss that a lot. And
So you don't actually need to come. What you're saying is you don't want to come. Okay, but like I worded that bad. You don't want to just come. You don't want to. So okay, the way we approach it at work is we're pretty much just trying to get you laid. So they took over your Tinder.
Yeah, I had deleted Tinder, and then about a week later, my boss called me and said, "Hey, I need you to download Tinder. We're gonna do this thing," and I'm not gonna say no to market number 3 in America.
Wow, way to throw that out there. But that does make me that makes me look better because I'm technically an employee there.
Okay, so your point was?
Well, I'm 20 and I'm working in the third largest market. I guess it's kind of cool. Not to brag. Shut the fuck up, Google.
Home just went off. God.
You shut the fuck up. I swear to
Eddie.
God. I'll go over there and strangle you, bitch. You
so
fucking
they got
cunt.
me this.
I'll come over there and fucking kill your family. I'll kill your family. Shut the fuck up. I'll kill your family. What are you saying?
So they got me this Tinder and they set it up. It's Tinder takeover. So they set it up with like a ridiculous caption, these ridiculous pictures, and it's very funny.
It's pretty funny.
I'm okay with what they did.
The pictures they took are hilarious.
The pictures I took.
The caption,
I like the captions.
I would have changed it.
I would have changed a few of them, but that's fine.
I would say there's too many.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Here, wait, can you pull it up actually and just read it? Just so we give a little bit of background.
So it's pictures of me, and every picture in the top right-hand corner, it says tap to see me with less clothing. And I start off fully clothed, and then one by one, I take,
a layer off.
I take my shirt off, and then I take my pants off, and then there's a picture of me in just my underwear with a hat, and then there's a picture of me in my underwear with no hat, which I thought was super funny. I added the hat bit myself. And then the caption or the bio says, I'm an ally to women, which is how it was introduced in the Chicago market, as that's like a bit I do.
Well, it's a bit, but it came from truth because one day you just said it out loud.
Well, yeah, because I think like
it was hilarious.
I think there's a ton of bad woke satire. Like I don't think
that's why I think we're different, because you said I'm an ally to women and that like stuff like I like black people.
I don't think a lot of comedians have been able to process wokeness and make fun of it in a way that's actually funny. A lot of it just comes across as like angry, like tropey nonsense, but there's a way.
Would you rather
someone
would you rather someone just be openly racist in a joke and just not try to come up with an excuse for it than someone who's like trying to be woke about it?
I need specific examples.
So if someone,
well, no, I know what you mean.
If someone's just like you know, like Portuguese people, and you can tell they're obviously joking, and they don't have to be like, I'm kidding, it's a joke. I
think I would rather prefer that. But with comedy,
really?
I think so. But with comedy, I like dealing with very literal examples. I struggle with a lot of hypothetical comedy things just because there are so many variables in those equations. Like but let me read my bio real quick because I don't necessarily care about this discussion. It says, I'm an ally to women. I own 3 Tamagotchis, a pimple popper's wet dream, attracted to women who wear the same perfume as my mom.
That's cool.
Tired of making dinner for 2 and eating both.
I don't know if I keep
dank
that.
memes.
Dank memes I might keep.
And Personality Champ, which I actually think that one is super funny.
Personality Champs, that is from another podcast.
Yeah, but I still like it.
That's from your mom's house.
But
my boss is a fan of that.
So when this was set up, I don't think my bosses knew me as well.
Mm-mm.
They kind of thought I was just another 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Which it would make my life easier if I was. But my understanding is they thought this was like going to get me laid. They really thought this was going to like kill. Yeah. And instead, it's led to me being cyberbullied. And
Papa Eddie's got you, don't worry. We're going to deal with that.
Has had
I don't think we can talk about that yet.
No.
That sucks. God damn. Oh.
But I
want to talk about that so bad.
It's just been another just mediocre experience online.
Yeah.
So I don't appreciate it. But it's hard to explain to people and not.
I think I didn't realize what you meant until today. Because I've been through the whole experience. We're like, we just need to get Case laid. You're not really looking to get laid. You're trying to find someone that you're generally interested in.
which is really hard to explain to people because
we need a dating game, not a fucking. We don't need Tinder takeover. We need a dating game.
I like dating, and that's hard to explain to people, especially because most people just in life think I'm gay anyways. So when I'm a 20-year-old man saying, no, I'm not really looking to hook up, I'm looking to date, like they look at that as like I'm looking for a beard, which is not true. It's just another one of those things. Like I'm
Debatable.
Not quirky or weird on purpose. I just happen to not be interested in alcohol. I am not looking to hook up, although if the perfect opportunity were to arise, I would at least have slight interest, but that's not like my main goal.
Yeah.
And I think most woke satire is bad because I don't think comedians have figured out the right way to do it. So I try to.
Here's what I'm proposing. I don't know if you know this, but Tommy and I are actually love gurus. We've had several people write into our show with problems they're having. No, I'm serious. You just gave me the shoot yourself in the face little
classic
little
Cobain moment.
I'm envious of that man. So, but like they've written in, and we've given them actual advice. So, I say give us a week. Give us a week or two. Let us take in all the things. And what I'm proposing is we don't do a Tinder take. Nothing quirky, nothing ridiculous like that. Just give us a week to analyze the data we have, and then we can come back to you and give you the best advice that the two love gurus can give you possibly. The whole and let me say we're trying to make Case come repeatedly. So we're not trying to just get Case laid. We're trying to. If you're out there and you're listening, you're like, I could make that guy come. We want you to, but it's going to be a thing where you need to make him come. Maybe twice a week. For a while.
So, maybe I'm just jumping ahead. Maybe this is what you're trying to do. But like, if you know me kind of well, so if you were to analyze me,
we're not going to use you the same way.
Eddie, let me finish my question.
Okay.
What's my greatest strength on the dating scene and what's my greatest weakness.
I mean, your humor is definitely your greatest strength. I mean, that's you gotta
and
lead
then
into that.
just physical is my weakness.
No, you look fine. I think based on, I mean, women aren't as well. A lot of girls are shallow. Women are stupid. So
I don't think women are stupid.
see, I mean, you say stuff like that, but then like look at it, just reality check real quick.
Well, there's just a lot. I mean, I don't like boring women. Like, I think like if you're,
I just don't like women.
if you're young and hot and that's all you are, I
Yes.
don't care. That's so boring to
So,
me.
but there are young hot women that will actually surprisingly look past looks and stuff like that.
If you have money, if
I'm
your
con-
last name's
no, not even
Weisfeld.
that. Not even that. Because I've had experiences in my life where women have been interested in me that are way out of my league.
Good
You know
for
what I mean?
Nice brag.
So, but I'm saying there are girls out there like that. So I'm confident that me and Tommy can come up with a plan based on the data that you've given us, based on what I know about you, and we'll come back and we'll give you a solid plan
Thanks, Ed.
to take into the scene. And we're not gonna fucking stick our noses in it. We're just gonna give you our advice and let you do with it what you will. You don't even have to use it. Most of the people that we've given to advice most of the people that we've given advice to haven't used it entirely. They've used parts of it, and it's worked every time. That's all I'm saying. We're 2 for 2 so far, so I think we have a pretty good track record.
Solid.
Besides that, I mean, we're fucking at time, right?
Yeah.
We're good. Thanks, Case.
Hey, can I plug my stuff?
Oh yeah, no, go for
I
it.
was gonna be super shitty if you
Fuck,
didn't let me
I didn't
plug
even
stuff.
realize you wanted to plug stuff. Go for
You
it.
can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Case Lowe, CaseLowe. And in the coming weeks, I have a new podcasting venture starting. You can already subscribe to it on Apple Podcast and Stitcher, not Spotify, not SoundCloud, but anywhere
Yeah, fuck
else.
those two.
Anywhere else, you should be able to download it. But the title of the podcast is Art School Albums, and we will be going track by track through every album that your ex-boyfriend has recommended to you. So the Neutral Milk Hotel and the Aeroplane Over the Seas, the Weezers, Pinkertons, Minor Threat, Out of Step, those sorts of albums are the ones that we're going to be talking about. The Art School Albums is in the title.
Can you and me do an episode on Weezer, but like their cover album?
No,
Oh, I love that.
doesn't
album.
fit the format of the show.
Fuck.
Yeah. But that's out there. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, like I said, Twitter or Instagram at _Case Lowe, CaseLowe. Eddie, thank you for having me on. I hope to be back in the future.
Yeah, we'll probably. I mean, we got to figure out how to make you come, so you have to come back at least. All right, guys, fucking stay classy. Don't trust. Don't trust. Don't trust Koreans, and fucking hopefully Tommy comes back someday. Love you guys. Mwah.